down in Langley, late at night. Smart old guys, they play it right. Captain Fun Bobby leads the charge. Silky mitts, Johnny gunshots coming large. Buddy in the slide, all the Chris's in a row. Nighthawks battle, it's a 2-1 show. Jackals, Jackals, rolling down the line. 10:30 puck drop, leaving sleep behind. Jackals, Jackals, no! Every day's Lloyd's birthday here. Whoppers and Fresca raise a cheer. Don't forget a shower beer. Check Pap's beard for lost gear. Jackals, Jackals, rolling down the line. 10:30 puck drop, leaving sleep behind. Jackals, Jackals, yo! Langley Twin Rinks, empty seats. Chili and buns, Christmas eats. A Chargers hat for tailgate. Nachos for the lady bing. Jackals, Jackals, rock and roll train. Jackals, Jackals, you can't stop the rain. Jackals!
Jackals TV is back, and we will be chronicling 2 Jackals games here today, starting with this one against old friends / foes, the Shower Hogs. This game taking place back on February 13th. See the Jackals on the left side of the screen in the white jerseys, the Shower Hogs on the right side of the screen in their dark blue jerseys. These teams, like I suggested earlier, have a long history together. And in fact, they played each other in the first round of the playoffs the previous year, with the Jackals eliminating the Shower Hogs in round 1. This game will be noteworthy for the lineup that the Jackals will be icing here today. You'll notice one player out on the ice wearing blue socks. This is the return to the lineup of original Jackal, or real life Saint as they were at the time, Mark Hogan. There you see him there wearing number 16 here tonight. Mark has been out for an extended period of time with a back issue, and he's going to return today for his first game since September 14th, 2019. That is a 2,346-day gap between games for Mark. If we look back at the career stats for the Jackals, you see Mark still remains in second place all-time in career scoring, having played during the formative years when the Jackals were high-flying and winning championships. In fact, looking back at that last game Mark played on September 14th, 2019, that was a 12-4 win for the Jackals, where Mark had 2 goals and 2 assists. So an interesting lineup development for the Jackals, and it came at an opportune time as they are without Chris Marshall, Chris Weeger, Chris Stuhar, all the Chris's out, Darwin and Rob all unable to play here today, so Mark is here helping out as a spare along with Rob Lawrence. So let's head to the first period. We start off with a play coming out of the Shower Hog zone. It's going to bounce off Bruce and turn into a 3-on-1 the other way. Aaron coming back hard to get it. And look at this. That is definitely offside. Play is allowed to continue. Shower Hogs pass it across. It's out of reach. Let's see if this offside becomes relevant here. The puck is going to get rimmed around to the wall. Shower Hogs are going to take it to the front of the net. And eventually off this shot, there's going to be a couple cracks of the rebound by players standing alone there in front. But they're unable to push past Trevor as it goes wide. Play in the offensive zone now for the Jackals, and Daryl's going to retrieve the puck behind the net. A neat little pass out front to JD, who was going hard to the front of the net. He sweeps that towards the goalie, but he makes the save. Hogs now trying to move the puck out of their own zone, and just an ill-advised pass through the middle, right onto Mark's tape. 2 players go to him, so he backhands it over to John, who one-times it towards the net, but the goalie came across and saves it. Hogs coming in now. Their shot is originally blocked, and then Daryl's outlet pass is also blocked. Hogs now on the attack, walking in. There's a good shot, but a blocker save to the corner by Trevor, and that's going to result in this play going up the ice. Daryl's got Gary in the middle, so he passes it to him. He's in on the right side, getting in behind the defender, tries scooping it on net with the backhand, but it's into the belly of the goalie, and he covers it up. Jackals continue a strong first period here. A very lazy outlet attempt here by the Shower Hogs. Mark's going to get it. Whip it right out front to Daryl. Sweeps out on net. And then the rebound is there for Lloyd. And he has oceans of space up high, but he can't quite get it over the goalie's leg. There's going to be yet another horrific pass by the Hogs in their own zone right up the gut here. And this time it's to Aaron Hogan rather than Mark. And it's just off the heel of Aaron's stick. That was about to be a dangerous opportunity there for the Jackals. Shower Hogs now have the puck at center. This player runs into JD, but the puck goes through to this player on the left side. He's going to swoop around Bruce right alone in the middle and sweep that puck past Trevor on the glove hand side. And against the run of the play, the Hogs have opened the scoring. It's 1-0. They're going to try to stretch it to 2-0. Here's a quick chance right off the draw. Trevor's ready for it. Directs it to the corner. And then this wraparound is picked off along the wall to this player in front. Backhand on net and a glove hand save. And Trevor secures the whistle. And we go to the second period, 1-0. And like the end of the previous period, Trevor has to be on the ball at the beginning of this one. That puck gets swept on net. And then the guy brings it out from behind the net and tries to stuff it in on the short side. But Trevor gets down low, makes a save. Here's Aaron weaving his way through center to allow people to catch up. Gives it to Daryl. It's through the defenders. He can't quite get control of it as it was skipping its way through there. But that won't be the last attempt that he gets at an odd man rush. There's a puck that skips past the Hogs defender. Daryl's so fast, he's ahead of the camera. He catches up to it. He's in alone. And once again, the puck will not stay seated and rolls off his stick harmlessly behind the net. Jackals just sending waves of attack now as Gary moves this puck up to John. He sucks the defender over, gives it to Jay, who's all alone walking in, moves to the right to open up the 5-hole and tries to put it there, but the goalie does well to close it up. The productive breakouts continue for the Jackals. Lloyd puts this off the wall to Jer. He's got Mark with him, throws it over to him. Mark heals it a bit, but does recover and then is allowed to walk right in. And look at that screen. You can't even see the goalie, and that's a great shot past the screen. Not sure how the goalie saw that and made the save. And after a string of great chances, the Jackals are going to suffer some bad bounces. First, that goes right through Jer right there. Then Bob and Jer run into each other. Puck bounces off Bob right back to that player. Then he throws it towards the net, and that's off of David Atkinson's back and past Trevor. So 3 different unfortunate actions there, creating that goal and allowing the Hogs to have a 2-goal lead. Here we see on this shot, it's going to go towards the net, and it's off David, down and past Trevor. Not much to be done about that one. And it goes from bad to worse for the Jackals off the ensuing face-off. The puck's going to come out to the neutral zone. Daryl can't quite handle it, and so the Hogs are going to come back the other way. And as this puck is thrown to the middle, Bob has it. He tries to move it out away from the middle, and it's going to just tick off Daryl's foot there, allowing this Hogs player to pick it back up and just throw it towards the net, and it slips through past Trevor, and it's quickly 3-0 now off a couple of unfortunate plays here in the second period. The Hogs now feeling emboldened by their recent luck, coming again on the attack. They execute a lane exchange. That sets a good screen between 2 defenders, and Trevor has his own screen save to respond to that earlier one by the Hogs goaltender. Jackals trying to respond, back on the attack. Daryl has it on the right side, throws it over to Gary, and it's just out of his reach. Looks like he had a lane to tap that in. The Hogs have a player open down the left side. They put it through Bob down to him, but it's out of reach for him. He's down towards the goal line. He throws it out front to a player charging hard to the front, and David takes him down before he can get a hold of it and slide into the goaltender and the net. And it's 2 minutes for holding to David. So Hogs to the power play, looking to get a 4-goal lead. This player coming in late gets a good chance there, but that's blocked in front by Bruce. Power play is going to continue, working it around behind the net. Up high along the half wall again. Guy at the point's calling for it, but it's going to get played down low, and it's going to be on this guy on the right that's sweeping towards the net. He gets it and he throws it towards the net, but Trevor's got it in the glove, and that's going to send us to the third period, still 3-0. Here's David with the puck at the point. He's going to get control of it and just shovel it towards the net. It bounces through there, and Jared has it at the side of the net, and he can't quite get it past the sprawling goaltender against the post there. There's something about this end of the ice for the Hogs. Another poor clearing attempt from there. Daryl has it. He has a hard charging Mark, but he likes to shoot. It's up high off the shoulder of the goaltender. Mark's going to fight for it there. Bob's going to bat it down. It's going to go right to Johnny, who throws it on net. And Daryl appears to deflect it wide. He goes back to Bob at the point for another shot there. And a beautiful tip by John that goes against the grain back towards the far side of the net. But the goaltender's toe gets it and keeps it out. Here's a play by Bruce that's right on the tape of the Shower Hogs player, but Trevor bails him out. Here comes Daryl up the left side. He's got Aaron with him, so he's going to take the puck down low, give it back to Aaron. Then Aaron wisely throws it back to Daryl, who's all alone in front, and he's backing away, looking for an opening, but the goalie sticks with it and makes the save. Here's Bruce pursuing a puck deep in his own zone, and as the rebound comes out off Trevor, he tries to get it in his feet, and he takes a nasty tumble down onto the hip area. After the whistle goes, Bruce is able to return to the bench under his own power, and he did finish the game. Jackals going to need to get on the board soon if they have any hope of getting back in this game. So here's Bruce disrupting the play in his own zone. Gary has it. He puts it up to Daryl. He's up ice. He's 1-on-3, so he's going to take his time. He's going to come down the middle. Here he comes, Mark, charging hard. He's going to throw that puck, and it's going to go wide, but it comes back out to Gary, who throws it towards the net, and Daryl is swooping by the front of the net, and he tips it downward and into the net. So the Jackals are on the board. It's 3-1. Hogs on the attack, and it appears as though Gary has this play broken up, but it bounces backwards towards the Hog player and then out high, and that player whips it on net, but it's right into Trevor's crest. Jackals will be pressing now, trying to get back into this game. Here's David with the pass over to Bob, and he's going to bring it in on the right side. Daryl scoring hard to the net. Bob flicks it through. It deflects off the defender, and then Daryl bats it out of the air towards the goaltender, and it almost slips by, but somehow the goalie keeps it out. Little later, Trevor's going to make the save. Aaron's in front to corral the rebound. He slides that quickly up to Gary Pablo, who's going to go down the right side, defer to Daryl. Daryl's going to go back to Gary, and Gary has a nice pass across to Rob Lawrence, and he can't make contact on that. A nice three-way passing play to set up the player high, but it doesn't connect. Hogs coming in on the right side here. There's the shot. The rebound is just out of Trevor's reach, or is it? He reaches out with the poke check on the backhand to clear the puck away. Then this next shot hits Gary Pablo in the back, and he's going to race away with it down the ice. He's going to go cut to the left side, move in on the net, try to flick it high over the shoulder, but it's off the shoulder and out of the arena. We're going to see some more from Daryl. There he is, down the left side again. Bumps it back to Lloyd, who swoops it down behind the net, back to Daryl. He tries to throw that out to Mark. It doesn't work. He regains it. He sees Bob coming in from the point, throws it out to him, and just as he's about to shoot, player sticks a stick in there. He does get it through, but it's down low along the ice, and the goalie kicks it out to the corner. Here comes Gary again, around the player, in alone, and he can't get it up over the shoulder. So now just a couple minutes left in this game. Jackals still down by 2. They use their timeout to try to plot away to find 2 goals here late in this game. And off the faceoff, it's going to go back to Gary. And he's going to take the big slap shot. Body's in front. Johnny lunges for it, but it's off the goalie's leg into the corner. Jackals coming again. There's Daryl's puck. Gets put in deep, and he's going to chase it down below the goal line, disrupt that defender, push him off the puck. And the puck's going to pop out to John in front. He gets one shot, and then he's whacking away at the rebound, and he can't find a way to get that through either. Some great chances here by John late in the game. And as the clock winds down, Daryl is engaged with another defender behind the net, knocking him down. They're not going to take too kindly to that, as time is going to run down, and you see that player just throw Daryl's stick towards the front of the net. So he tries to throw the player across behind the net, and Mark has to get in there and help out. And eventually, cooler heads are going to prevail, and the players are going to skate away, led by the Shower Hogs goaltender. And this game is going to end in a 3-1 Hogs win. So the Jackals can't find a way to continue their winning streak after winning last week. They'll go down here to the Shower Hogs. Let's have a quick look at the stats. Of course, only the 1 goal, Daryl, from Gary and Bruce. Of course, that's just game 1 of our package here. We are now going to move on to the following week when the Jackals play it again. So now we'll be looking at the game from February 20th. Jackals taking on the Minnesota Nighthawks. There you see the Nighthawks in their highlighter colored yellow jerseys at the right side, and the Jackals on the left in their white jerseys again. Mark is once again back out as a spare. Also Rob Lawrence, the same 2 spares from the previous week. Lloyd, David, Bruce, and Gary Pablo all unable to make this game, so they'll have to have some forwards drop back and play defense here in this game, and that'll be Daryl and Darwin. So let's head to the first period. It's going to be a rough start for the Jackals, and specifically for Trevor, as this player comes down the left side, takes the slap shot low, and that's going to catch Trevor right on the top of the knee, where above his padding and below his pants there, and that's going to injure him slightly. He is going to manage to finish the game, but he's going to be in some discomfort for the rest of this contest. And when the goalie takes injury like that, the rest of the players are going to step up. First, here's a block from Rob, racing out to the point to get in the way of that shot. Nighthawks going to move the puck around out to the other point. This player is going to wind up for a shot of his own, and coming out to block that one, Mark sends it out to center. Here's a disrupted play in the neutral zone. John goes to play it, gives that player probably a little harder shove than he was expecting, and that player gives him a swat at the back of the head there very lightly. They're going to exchange words at center, and nothing more is going to come of it. Here we see Trevor set this puck up for Darwin, who moves it up to Chris Marshall, over to Johnny, who then gives it back to Darwin, and then he's going to blast through those two Nighthawk players, and then around this one, cut to the net, and backhand the puck through the 5-hole. A sweet goal there from the Jackals to open this scoring. It's 1-0. You see as Darwin comes around here, he's going to open the goaltender's legs up and slide it in there, and it's a good goal. Darwin's going to look for more. There's a puck battle in this corner. Chris Marshall's going to eventually win it and rip it around to Darwin, who lines up for the slap shot, nice and low, hard to the far side, but it's kicked out. Play at center. The puck gets bumped past Rob Lawrence, and now it's a 2-on-1 for the Nighthawks, but not for long. Jason Davis on his horse gets back, takes away the pass, and thus Bob and Trevor are able to play the shot, and the puck stays out. Here's a face-off in the Jackals zone. Daryl goes to play it behind the net, and he ends up picking that play for Bob, who's going to eventually find Mark in center ice here. He's going to kick that puck over to the left side and go to the net, and then Rob's going to throw it over, and Mark's going to bat it out of the air onto the net. Good work there to get that on the net, but the goalie sharply makes the save. Nighthawks with a slick little backhand pass here to throw that out to a player in front of the net. He can't quite get it on net, but that player comes back from behind the net to sweep it on the net, but Trevor's there. Another face-off in the Jackal zone. We focus on Jerry. He's going to come back towards the front of the net, bump into that player, and knock him down. Get a little shot back from that other Nighthawks player, but the referee's going to take Jeremy only to the box. 2 minutes for roughing. So on the power play, Nighthawks come down the left side. They have a player going hard to the front of the net, throw it through, hops over his stick harmlessly to the corner, but the Nighthawks are going to keep it in, throw the puck towards the net, and there's a rebound right to that guy all alone in front. He pulls it to the forehand, but he can't beat Trevor. So we go to the second period, still 1-0. And early in this period, there's a dump in by the Jackals. John's going to retrieve the puck in the left corner, bump it back behind the net for Rob. He's going to throw that out front to Chris Marshall. He just misses it, but instead Daryl gets it, and he whips it high, blocker side. And we've got ourselves a 2-0 lead for the Jackals. It's possible Chris got a piece of this, but it looks like he was just ahead of the puck, and luckily Daryl was swooping in behind him to pick that up. Down in the Jackals' end now. Puck comes out front. Jer has it, but then it's just out of his reach. He can't get it out. This player intercepts it, walks in. He's all alone, puts it up high in the blocker. It's off Trevor's arm and to the corner. And then it's picked up there by Rob Lawrence, who throws it up to Aaron, who's swooping through the middle. He gets it, and he just blasts past the players wide. Goes in all alone, pulls it to the backhand, and puts it over the goaltender's arm. So a really nice sequence on the breakout there from the Jackals, and a nice goal from Aaron to give the Jackals some breathing room. They've got a 3-goal lead in this one. Here they come again. Jer down the left side, bumps it to Chris Stuhar in the middle, tries to shoot from there, and then it's down low and it gets moved out to the point. Bob throws it over to Chris Marshall, who chops it towards the net, and then Jer can't control it on the back door. He had some space there, dives to get it back to Daryl, tries to get that through. That's blocked, and then that player picks it up and tries to go for the breakaway pass, but Daryl reads it well and disrupts it before it can get through. Here's Bob playing the puck at center, and this player comes in from behind and gets the stick into his knee and pushes it forward. Bit of a slew foot there to send him flying, and then Chris Marshall's losing his stick in the background. Crazy stuff happening, but no penalties called. Here comes Rob down the left side. He's got Chris Weeder all alone in front, passes it over, gets control of it, tries to go to the forehand and sweep it around the goaltender. But he comes across, makes a save, and then there's another shot from the point from Darwin that Chris and Rob both try to get a stick on. There's a slap shot that Trevor makes a save, and then he has to make another save off the rebound as that player gets it and swings back. So Daryl puts that up to Aaron, and then he fans on it and turns it over, and the puck gets put back. And then when you turn the puck over, what happens? You end up blocking this shot, and that's a good one there to keep that shot away from Trevor. Nighthawks trying to find some offense here. Here they come up the left side. Player going hard to the net on the right, so they throw it across to him, but he misses it and then catches an edge on the ice and slides into the net, knocking it off its moorings. Here's Bob again in the neutral zone with the puck. Bad pass over to Mark, but then he gets it back, and now he's back on the rush with Mark. Throws it over to him. Mark's going to drive wide, and Bob goes to the front of the net. Mark passes it back, and Bob shovels it towards the net, but it's off the defender's skate and to the corner. Play continues after that. It's out to Daryl at the point. He's going to hold on to it, take it down the right wall, and feed it over to Mark. Mark's going to whip that on net up high, but it hits Bob in the back. So Bob is just continuously getting in the way of Mark getting his first goal in over 2,000 days as that one goes off Bob's shoulder and behind the net. So here we are now in the third period. Nighthawks coming up the ice, and that player looks like he might have a breakaway, but Darwin's coming back and he skates through that player, bumps into him, and as he's turning looking for the puck, looks like Chris Marshall's stick gets in there and clips the player's skate just as he's about to turn, sends him flying. It could have been either player with the penalty there, but it's going to be Chris Marshall for tripping. So Nighthawks to the power play, working it around. They're going to step to the middle of the ice. Daryl knocks that player down, and that creates some chaos there and potential screen for that player to shoot through, but it's into Trevor's glove. Here, Mark wins a draw that goes back to Darwin. He puts it back up to Mark, but it goes through to the point. There's two players alone in front. I'm not sure which one tipped it, but it doesn't matter because Trevor makes the save. There's a bad turnover coming for this Nighthawks defender. Puts it right on Chris Marshall's stick. He's going to walk in, go to the forehand, try to slide it through the 5-hole, but the goalie sticks with it. Here's an unproductive pinch from Bob. That puck gets put by him along the wall, and that's going to be a 2-on-1 the other way. This player's going to slide the pass across, get Goodwood on it, but Trevor is there. He read that all the way and got over quickly. So now we're back in the offensive zone for the Jackals. John wins this draw back to Bob, moves in, shooting lane looks blocked, so he puts it over to Jay, who's alone in front, up high, and Jay whips that on net. Looks like maybe that's off the defender's stick and up hard over the shoulder, bar down and in. And the Jackals have themselves a 4-goal lead with just under 5 minutes left to play in the third period. Here we see the puck in the Jackals corner. It's going to get bumped down there. Daryl's going to pursue that player, and as he does it, stick comes up and catches him in the face, and lucky for him, he has the full cage on. Otherwise, he could have been potentially looking like Jack Hughes with some missing teeth there. So 4 minutes for high sticking for the Nighthawks, and the Jackals are on the power play. However, this puck is going to get thrown around out front, and that player is going to knock it out of the air and past Trevor. And so a very late, shorthanded goal is going to ruin the shutout bid here and make this game 4-1. So a bounce-back game here for the Colts. They lost that one game in the middle, but they now have 2 wins in the last 3 games. Let's have a look at the stats for this game. You see at the top of the table, John there with 3 big assists in this game, 3-point game to lead the Jackals to the victory. Let's have a look now at the updated season stats. After those 2 games, Aaron at the top of the table with 12 points. John and Gary Pabla tied for second with 10 each. Darwin now second in the team in goals with 5. Let's have a look at the standings now after these 2 games, win and a loss for the Jackals. There they are, just above the Steers in 7th place, and a big gap between them and the 6th place team. So it should be tough for them to catch up here with the few games that are remaining. And let's have a look at the upcoming week in the division. See the Jackals playing the Snipers on Friday, the 27th, and there you see the rest of the games in the division. So that's it for this one, folks. We'll see you next week.